Hi, my name is Damitha Wijesundara and I am the Chief Information Officer of ABC Insurance Company. Recently, I have taken part of a seminar regarding the cloud computing and I have gained the knowledge of how it's going to be benefited to our company. So, based on that, we have analyzed and prepared a PowerPoint presentation. So, let me take you through this presentation and educate you regarding how it's going to benefit our company. Today's agenda is what is cloud computing, advantages and disadvantages, what are the risks associated with the cloud computing, business case analysis, sensitivity analysis of the business case, best practices of cloud computing, conclusion and the lesson learned. The purpose of today's presentation is explain how the cloud computing is and analysis of how the cloud computing is going to benefit the company, present the business case to the board of directors and obtain the approval for the implementation of the cloud computing. Let's have a look what cloud computing or the cloud is. The cloud computing is a model of computing in which computer processing, storage, software and other services are provided as a pool of virtualized resources over a network, primarily the internet. These clouds of computing resources can be accessed on an as-needed basis from any connected devices and location. Cloud computing consists of three different types of services, namely the cloud infrastructure as a services, which means customers uses processing, storage, networking and other computing resources from cloud services providers to run their information system. For example, Amazon uses their sparse capacity of its infrastructure to provide the broadly based cloud environment to selling IT infrastructure services. Secondly, the cloud platform as a services. Customers use the infrastructure and programming tools supported by the cloud services provider to develop their own application. For example, IBM offers a smart business application development and test services for software development and testing to the IBM cloud. Third one is the cloud software as a service, which means customers use a software hosted by the vendor on their vendor's cloud infrastructure and delivered over a network. Leading examples are Google Apps. There are four different kinds of cloud deployment models. The first one is the public. Public is owned by and maintained by the cloud services provider, which means the cloud infrastructure is provisioned for the open use by the general public. It may be owned or managed and operated by a business or academic or government organization or some combination of them. It exists on the premises of the cloud provider. Secondly, the private clouding. The private clouding is the cloud infrastructure is provided for exclusive use by the single organization comprising multiple consumers. It may be owned, managed or operated by the organization or third party or some combination of them, and it may exceed one or off premises. Third one is community cloud, which means the cloud infrastructure is provisions for exclusive use by the specific community of the consumers from organizations that have shared concern. It may be owned or managed and operated by one or more organizations in the community, a third party or some combination of them. It may be exists or one of or premises. The last one is the hybrid cloud, which means the cloud infrastructure is the composition of two or more distinct cloud infrastructures, private, community or public, that remain unique entities but are bound together by the standardized or proprietary technology that enables data and application probability. Let me take you to the advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing. The major advantage of cloud computing is the cost efficiency, which will affect based on the infrastructure not to be invest major as and the maintenance cost as a traditional computer system but we record. And the second one is convenience and continuous availability. Wherever the location is, geographical location, time zone, so you can access which is not physically available. So that is one of the good advantage we have. And the backup and recovery is also available at any time. You can retrieve whenever you need. Cloud is environmental friendly, so we do not have to run hardware much as you have done in the traditional system. So you can save the energy, which will help to create a green environment. Some of the advantages are the resilience and the redundancy, stability and performances, quick development and easy integration, increased storage capacity where you don't have to have the limited capacity, and the device diversify and the location independence, smaller learning curve. There are very few disadvantages of cloud computing. One of the major concerns is the security and privacy of in the cloud. Security is the biggest concern when it comes to the cloud computing. By leveraging a remote cloud-based infrastructure, a company essentially gives away private data and information, things that might be sensitive and confidential. It is then up to the cloud service provider to manage, to protect and retain them. Thus, the provider's reliability is very critical. A company's existence might be put on jeopardy, so all possible alternatives should be explored before the decision. On the same note, even if the users might feel uncomfortable surrendering their data to the third party. The second one is dependency and vendor lock-in. One of the major disadvantages of the cloud computing is the implicit dependency on the provider. This is what the industry calls the vendors locked in, since it is difficult and sometimes impossible to migrate from the provider once you have the role with them. The third one is the technical difficulties and downtime. And the next one is limited control over the flexibility and increased vulnerability. A business case has been analyzed based on the financial forecast and with the four different financial parameters to analyze and ascertain the acceptability of these cloud computing project. So the first financial parameter is the net present value, which is the difference between the discounted cash inflows and outflows, which comes really positive about 2.6 million US dollars. At the same time, internal rate of return, which is IRR, which is 27.95, with the rate of 10% discounting factor, it has come to 27.95, which is much higher than the discount rate. At the same time, payback period also with initial investment will be recovered within 4.1 years, 4 years and 1 month's time. And the profitability index also over 1%, which is 1.73, which is going to be very healthy parameters to ensure that the products will be viable. If you need the further references how these figures has been arrived, all the details were provided in the spreadsheet, and the meaning of the financial parameters also given as what is net present value, IRR, payback period and profitability index, how it is arrived and what is the effective use of for the decision making. A sensitivity analysis has been carried out for this project proposal with the two scenarios with the 10% variable, positive and negative. With these two scenarios, current, low and all these amounts has been reflected. It has been much positive compared to the other investment proposals we have come through. Net present value of the current scenarios is 2.6 million, whereas the 10% low, which comes about 2 million approximately, and 10% higher, it's going to be to 3.3 million. Internal rate of return, which is 27.95, has come down with the variation of 10% low to 22.8, and which is much higher than 29.6 with the 10% higher. The payback period has little higher in the 10% low, which is for 4 years and 7 months. The same period has come down to 4 years with the 10% higher, and the profitability index for all three scenarios is more than 1%. The graphical presentation shows how these effective for the financial parameters, and it is well within the beyond the limits of the achievements. Next, we'll have a look on how the cloud management or the best practices, how we should manage the cloud computing. So we need to analyze and develop implement the cloud strategy, integrated all services required for the cloud computing, adequate training for the staff which is needed regularly, data security and privacy specified by the agreement with the vendors, insurance, and the business continuity plan to continue for the future purpose. Conclusions: having positive NPV, IR, and greater than required rate of return and other financial parameters are also being positive for. Further, despite of the disadvantages, cloud computing remains strong as has a great potential for the future through its cost effectiveness and other advantages. It uses base grows constantly and more big players are attracted to it, offering better and fine-tuned services and solutions. This will help us to remain competitive in the market and gain the market share in the long run. We believe that the advantages will further grow and the disadvantages will be mitigated by having a written agreement with the service providers with the specific requirements for the data privacy. Hence, we would seek your approval to move the current ABC insurance IT system to the cloud system to gain the benefits highlighted. Lesson learned: searching over the internet and other related journals, it was understood that the cloud computing is still at the initial stage. Thorough study is needed before migrating to cloud. Organization's dependency level to service providers is little higher. Cost benefit is the biggest advantage of cloud computing, will reduce the IT infrastructure cost. Information system will support the business to be customer oriented and serve faster through different locations. Bringing your own device could be utilized to manage the company's hardware cost and with the scrutinized access level. Data security and privacy is the biggest concern in a competitive market. Properly defined agreement need to be in place. Human resources in IT department may have a fear in losing their jobs for if new responsibilities are not being assigned. These are the list of references we have gone through. So there are few references which have been highlighted in the system. This is the presentation I have done to get your approval to migrate the current information IT system we have for the cloud computing. So I believe so whatever the benefits we have, it's overcoming the disadvantages on the related disadvantages we have. So we believe that we could achieve the much better targets or much better potential with the new cloud computing. Thank you for your time, and this is Damitha Wijesundara. I'm the Chief Information Officer of ABC Insurance Company. So thank you very much.